Hey guys, so this is kind of part 2 of my video of why I'm not vegan anymore and why I do not recommend veganism for someone in eating disorder recovery. Now, in my last video, part 1, I talked a little bit more about the physiological reasons of why veganism is not great for someone with an eating disorder. And in this video, I'm going to touch on the psychological reasons why. Now, you might have noticed that there are so many people who are vegan, who have a background, a history of an eating disorder, who currently have an eating disorder. In fact, all you need to do is switch on vegan YouTube and just about everyone has an eating disorder. Now, why is that? If you're someone out there that doesn't have an eating disorder, is that not feel a little bit strange to you? And are you not wondering why that is? Well, I'm kind of here to tell you. And yeah, I might get a lot of hate by saying this from a lot of people who do have eating disorders, but if you are one of those people who are going to challenge me on that, I would like you to just kind of sit back and have a think about it. Even if it doesn't relate to you, can you not see how it does relate to many other people with eating disorders? Now, the reason for this is that the reason that veganism is so attractive to people with eating disorders is that it does offer another way to restrict, and whether that is consciously or unconsciously, it's like if you go out somewhere for a meal, there's veganism in society, it's just inherently restrictive in its nature, okay? There are loads of vegan options out there, but it does offer you another way to restrict. So you go out for a meal somewhere, they don't have vegan cheese for your pizza. Oh, well, I'll just have the pizza without cheese. Think how many calories you're dropping, seriously. Now, that was not a reason that I went vegan. I did go vegan for ethical reasons, but these are some things that I did encounter along the way, and I found it difficult because I was trying to recover from my eating disorder, and sometimes I was going out and the only things that I could get were say a soup, a vegetable soup. And I'm like, well, that's not exactly great for eating disorder recovery. Some dry bread because they didn't have any vegan butter, things like this. So a lot of people do go, it is so easy to restrict whilst you are a vegan. Another thing is that eating disorders thrive from rules, okay? This is the biggie here. Eating disorders love rules. They love to attach themselves onto rules and regulations surrounding diet and surrounding exercise, And veganism, let's face it, there are rules in veganism. And although those rules might just be, well, you don't eat animal products because you don't want to exploit animals, it doesn't matter. The eating disorder still pounces on that and is like, yes, rules, reasons not to eat. Just it loves control and it loves having these guidelines in which to just base its diet. So eating within these rules, and especially when you have certain vegan gurus out there perpetuating the idea that these rules will make you lean and will not give you cancer and this, that, the next thing, that really just reinforces all of these rules and all these guidelines. And the rules and guidelines become, as well as being ethical guidelines and rules, also become kind of related to body image, related to weight loss, related to leanness and whatever. And for an eating disordered mind to function within these guidelines is very comforting, because eating disorders are about control, and having these restrictions, like I say, it is so comforting, and it's not like you're going to lose control and just be able to eat everything. Let me just give you another example. There's lots of people who claim to have recovered from their eating disorder on a paleo diet or on a bodybuilder diet, and the fact is that the thing that all of these diets, veganism, bodybuilding, paleo, whatever, all of these things, all that they have in common is the fact that they have rules and they have restrictions, they have guidelines. And veganism is kind of different because these a lot of these rules and guidelines, like I say, are about just not exploiting animals. They are, they're ethical guidelines, but the fact is that they are still rules. And a lot of the time, the eating disorder mind can just twist this and kind of hide behind the fact that you're being ethical. These choices are being ethical. You're helping others. That you're so lovely and wonderful, when really it's not. But sometimes your true mind, like the actual person's mind, cannot distinguish between this, because eating disorders are a little bit like split personality disorder or bipolar. I'm not saying that they are these things, but it's kind of like you do have two. You have the eating disorder voice, the eating disorder part of you, and then you have the Lauren or whoever you are, and it's like conflict between the two. And sometimes that eating disorder voice can really make you think that you're doing the right thing, right? But it's just disguised as something else. It's really sneaky. It is so, so sneaky. And that is kind of why a lot of people are attracted to veganism and with an eating disorder. It's plain as simple as that. And the thing is, a lot of people actually do recover or do gain weight and whatever on the vegan diet, and that is awesome, because you're gaining to a healthy weight. But the fact is that you've done that conditionally. You've done that under the conditions that you have followed these rules. And maybe these rules have been completely ethical, and I would say about 1% of people that actually do this are doing it for the right reasons. Because let me pose you this question, something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. Of all the hordes of people with eating disorders that have flocked to veganism, how many of those would actually stay if it came out that the vegan diet would not allow you to be lean? There was something, like hypothetically, okay, there was something about the vegan diet that, that you wouldn't be as lean or like as slim or whatever on a vegan diet as you would be as an omnivore. And the vegan diet was guaranteed to make you gain weight, okay, or to give you a podgy belly, or to never have abs, or whatever your goal is. How many of those eating disorder people would then flock to veganism, right, if they were offered an alternative omnivore diet which was guaranteed to keep them slimmer, right? I guarantee you that so many of these people would not go to veganism if it was guaranteed to cause them to gain weight to a body shape that they were not going to be happy with. Doesn't matter that, it would, even if it was not health, right? You could be at that body weight but still be healthy, but you would not be super lean. So many people would not do it. And I might get a lot of hate for saying that, but I can guarantee you that there's a lot of truth in it. It's unfortunate, but there's a lot of truth there. Now, I actually know some quite large, like 11k plus subscribers here on YouTube who are vegan, right? And they are vegan YouTubers, but they actually have illnesses in which they have to take medication for the rest of their lives to keep them alive. They might have one adrenal gland, a few other illnesses, and that medication is not vegan, right? That medication that they have to take for the rest of their life is not vegan, but they eat a vegan diet. Now, most vegans would say that that's okay because, they're doing it to keep them alive and it's their medicine. Now, the thing is, if you have an eating disorder, there is no medication, there is no magic pill. Food is your medicine, okay? And that means that nothing is off the table whilst you are recovering. Absolutely nothing. And that is something that vegans need to understand, that food is your medicine, and whilst you're in recovery from an eating disorder, and also possibly for the rest of your life, right? Why for the rest of your life? Because eating disorders are not something that ever go away. Eating disorders are only ever in remission. It's a bit like being an alcoholic, right? You can never ever have another drink again, right? Or it will send you into a relapse. With eating disorders, especially ones like anorexia nervosa, restriction is the thing that sets it off. Any sort of restriction can cause a relapse. Now, that can be restriction of calories, but it can also be restriction of food types, like, macronutrients, restriction of carbohydrates, restriction of meat, animal products, anything could cause a relapse. Listening to people who tell you things like eating this will give you cancer, and you're like, oh my god, your eating disorder will latch onto that, and you as a person have no control, because at that point the eating disorder mind takes over. And that is why it is very, very risky to go vegan whilst having an eating disorder. It's more the fact that your eating disorder mind twists a lot of things. And this is not a problem with veganism. Don't get me wrong here, guys. This is not me bashing veganism. This is me telling it like it is for someone with an eating disorder who encounters veganism, and what actually happens and how it is morphed out of control. Now, I truly believe that, and this is one of the reasons that I took down all my past videos, that someone with an eating disorder should not be advocating veganism to people recovering from an eating disorder. I just think it's completely wrong. That is something that I have done in the past, and I have recognised it. And unfortunately, I cannot take back some of the things that I've said, but we live and learn. And I'm not going to keep up videos now that I now see the flaws in. I see the flaws in them. Now, I know that there are so many people here on YouTube that do advocate veganism to people with eating disorders, and that is, in my opinion, downright irresponsible. There are even people on here who claim to be advocates for eating disorder recovery and also advocates for veganism. But the fact is that the fact that you're doing both at the same time really means that you're doing a disservice to your eating disorder advocacy, because in a sense you are encouraging other people who are watching you with eating disorders to maybe try out veganism, and that can be really detrimental to their recovery and also to their life. Also, you've got people selling ebooks and selling veganism as this diet that will cure your eating disorder. Veganism does not cure eating disorders. Paleo does not cure eating disorders. No way of eating cures eating disorders. What does cure eating disorders is to let go of all your food rules, to try and get therapy if you can, right? And to overcome your own issues with food and with your body, and that involves no restriction of any kind, right? And maybe in the future, at some point down the line, you will want to delve into veganism, and that is okay. And like I say, if you are someone who has recovered on a vegan diet and it has served you well, just realise that you are a very small minority, and I do applaud you for doing that, but please do not advocate it to other people, because like I say, every eating disorder is different and most will respond in a negative way to it. They honestly will. And I'm not bullshitting here. I really wish that I didn't have to say that, but it is the truth. Eating disorders are so serious. I'm going to insert some pictures here. Now, that last image there, that is me. That is me. 20 years of starvation and of malnourishment. A vegan diet is not the most efficient way for me to heal my starved body. I'm not going to put my parents and my family and myself through that anymore. I want to live, and I'm going to do everything I can in my power to do that in the most efficient way. But I would like to say, like my good friend Don Bauer, I am pro-vegan. I support all of you people in your quest. I really do. But unfortunately, it's not something that I can do right now. or possibly ever for personal reasons. That does sadden me, but it's something that I've had to come to terms with, and I would really love it if you guys could at least just appreciate that. You don't have to be happy with it, but just appreciate it. That would mean a lot. That really would mean a lot. So what does all this mean for the future of my channel? This channel is now going to be all about eating disorder recovery. Any information, I have a plethora of information up here everywhere, right? I am like a walking textbook on eating disorders and eating disorder recovery. And I'm currently going through my own recovery journey. And I want to make this channel all about that. I want to basically inform and educate people about eating disorders and to help and support people. So I want to make this a community. I really do. And everyone is welcome. Everyone, whether you are vegan, whether you are non-vegan, anyone, right, is welcome here. Or even if you're just someone who wants to learn about eating disorders, about psychiatric illnesses, and if you do want help and support, please watch my videos, because I will be doing quite a lot of them. And I do hope that they are helpful to you. I hope that you guys understand where I've come from in these last two videos, part 1 and 2, about why I'm not vegan, why it is really difficult for me to come to terms with that, but why I'm putting it aside for now, and why I'm not going to be a vegan YouTuber anymore. So guys, thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one.